If you're hunting for the ultimate steal in the Porsche world, the Porsche 996 is your weapon of choice. Today, we're hammering out the 10 reasons the Porsche 996 is the best deal in Porsche's history. This hated underdog is rising from the ashes, packing a punch without gutting your wallet. So let's drop some truth bombs so that everybody can see what's up with the Porsche 996. Before we start, don't forget to do all that YouTube-y stuff. Like, share, and subscribe. It signals YouTube to push this video out to more people so that more people can know how good a Porsche 996 truly is. Let's go. Reason number 1, dirt cheap entry into Porsche hood. Forget the six-figure fantasies. The Porsche 996 lets you storm around for peanuts. You can grab a manual 996 for 14 to 20,000 bucks and a pristine one for about $30,000. Where can you find a deal on a Porsche 911 like that without selling your soul? It is an incredible deal for those that know Porsche 996s. Reason number 2, prices are set to explode. Now, I've heard say that the Porsche 996 will never go up in value, that it's not worth it, that it's not a real Porsche. I mean, craziness. These are people that weren't around when the Porsche 964s were selling for $11,000, $12,000 in the early 2000s. Anybody who's lived through that experience knows that the values go up and down. Everybody knows that the values have a dip before everybody starts loving them again. And that's what's starting to happen with the Porsche 996. So if you want a killer return on investment and you want to keep the Porsche 996 for the next 5-10 years, you can't go wrong. On to the next point. Reason number 3, savage performance and killer horsepower to weight ratio. Under the hood, it's a flat 6 pumping out 296 horsepower, rocketing 0 to 60 in 5.2 seconds. The later 3.6 models crank out even more horsepower and a lot more low-end torque. So if you want to go to the track and have fun with these Porsches, it's very easy. You hardly have to do anything to them, just firm up the suspension a little bit. The lack of weight is what makes them so fun. A lot of people look at 0 to 60 times and think to themselves, whoa, this is how good this car is. But the car might weigh 5,000 pounds. A base Porsche 996 weighs under 3,000 pounds. You're getting close to Miata levels there. And why do people like Miatas? Because they're fun, because they're light. That's what the Porsche 996 is. It's light. So that equals fun. On to the next one. Reason number 4, the myth of reliability is completely busted by now. IMS and RMS gremlins, the reliability on Porsche 996s with its M96 engine is just as good as any other Porsche that has been maintained. That is the key factor, that has been maintained. You see, because of the price, a lot of bargain shoppers have come to buy Porsche 996s and they don't give it the maintenance that it deserves. And this has happened before in Porsche world. The Porsche 924s, 944s, and 928s all went through this. Porsche 964s a little bit also. The prices got so low that the buyers that came to buy this type of car were not able or not willing to spend the amount that it takes to do the maintenance correctly. And I see this everywhere. I see somebody buy a Porsche 996 and now they're like, whoa, I can't believe I gotta do the IMS on it. That's maintenance, man. That's what it is. You know that changing the oil on a new Porsche, you have to remove the entire rear bumper? It's not as easy as taking it to Jiffy Lube, and you're gonna pay for that. This is a Porsche 911. And it requires Porsche 911 maintenance. So the only people that I see complaining about reliability are people that got deals on these cars. You know, they never did a PPI and are suddenly shocked that maybe the car has some issues. And of course, they have a keyboard just like everybody else, so things are blown out of proportion. The Porsche 996 is just as reliable as any other Porsche that has been maintained correctly. So if you get a pre-purchase inspection, you have nothing to worry about. It's totally worth it and they are very, very reliable. On to the next one. Reason number 5. The Porsche 996 was such a huge technological shift for Porsche over the 993 that most people consider them almost two different companies. I mean, how can one company make the Porsche 993 and then make the Porsche 996 and call them both 911s? They are very, very, very different, specifically because of the water cooled. Now, a lot of people think that, oh no, it's terrible that it's water cooled, but remember that Porsche has been water cooling their race engines for a very long time. The Porsche 996, even though a lot of people don't want to give it that credit, the Porsche 996 was lighter and faster than the 993. Lighter and faster. What does this mean? That you get more for your money than purchasing a 993 while still keeping that raw feel that newer cars don't have. It's less prone to rust and the AC actually works. Now, to a lot of people, AC is not such a big deal, but if you live in places like Arizona or down here in South Florida, AC is like life support. As a matter of fact, you don't actually see any air-cooled 911s driving around. because the AC systems in them, they're not as good as the newer water-cooled ones. The only air-cooled 911s you see driving around down here, specifically in Miami, will be a 993 or a 964 on a Sunday. 996s are driven every single day because they're more usable. And a lot of the reasons is the HVAC systems. They're just better, making the car more usable. On to the next one. Reason number 6. The Porsche 996 is so much simpler than the newer Porsches. It's incredible. They can still be serviced at home. Most of the things that you see that might be an issue, a tutorial or a how-to has already been done online, or a full-blown YouTube video has been done on this. How to fix it, how to correct it, how to improve it. So if you like to work on your own cars, I do, the Porsche 996 is great. And there is an incredible community of people that will help you work on this car because it's simple. One of the few last Porsches that you can actually work on yourself, so that means you can keep it a long time. It also means that it's easier to find a shop to work on it because a lot of the new Porsches, they're locked to the dealership network. Not so much with the Porsche 996. The only issue with the Porsche 996 that I don't like so much is the radio. It has an M-bus system, so it's not easy just to swap out the radio and, with the amp and all that. Usually when you swap out the radio, you have to bypass the amps on 996s. That didn't happen with the 993s, by the way. But there's aftermarket solutions for that too. And the reason is because at the heart of it, it's a really, really, really simple car. That means a lot less ownership headaches for you. On to the next one. Turbo options for the insane power plays.
You know why it was called a 911, don't you? So the Americans would know what to dial when they crashed. And they would crash. It's a very scary car. And the scariest model of them all is the Turbo.
You know that you can get a Porsche 996 Turbo for about 45,000 bucks. Now these cars are far better than what the price would suggest. It's got the bulletproof Mesker engine and an incredible all-wheel drive system, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to use that power. I mean, you will be slipping and sliding everywhere. The interiors are also completely upgraded. The Porsche 996 actually has a higher quality interior, in my opinion, than earlier air-cooled 911s because look at the dashboards, they don't crack. The early ones, they do, but they're still plastic. On the Porsche 996's Turbo, they're leather wrapped. You just can't tell because this generation of Porsches did not have the French seam like the 997s did. But you see this huge dashboard and you really can't tell the difference between the plastic and the leather. The Turbos, they're all leather. And it feels so good. I mean, the interior is like walking into a leather wrap cocoon. It's amazing. If you just do the extra little plastic bits of leather that are not really done and you upgrade those, the interior will be as high quality as anything out there. Plus a lot of power. So for those looking for that turbo rush, nothing beats a Porsche 911 Turbo. And you can have that at a great deal with the Porsche 996 Turbo. On to the next one. Reason number 8. Massive production means parts galore. I mean, it's incredible. Porsche made 175,000 Porsche 911s, 996s. You know what this means? There's no hunting for rare bits, for different little parts that could crack inside the interior or could go inside the engine. Everything is available. Almost every single bit has also been modded to hell. So if you want to put aftermarket parts or upgraded parts, chances are you're going to find them. I see people even doing 3D printing for interior bits on Porsche 996s. Custom center consoles, custom dash trims, everything. This only happens if a car has enough production numbers, that there's enough of them out there, a long crash, and then these parts are available so that the other cars can live. A lot of people underestimate this, but collectors know what it is. Any little part that you might need for your Porsche 996 is available. And that can't be said about a lot of other Porsches. It just removes a lot of headaches. On to the next one. Reason number 9. This beast handles everyday life. Usually when you see Porsche 996s, they're not garage queens. They're driven every single day to work, on the weekends, grocery shopping, Home Depot. The Porsche 996 became so usable with the new bigger interior, with the trunk, just a lot of little different things that made the car everyday doable while still being interesting enough, fun enough to give you that Porsche 911 feel. Some cars are so race specific that you can't even drive them anymore. You just park them. They might get a lot of attention when you do take them out, but tell me how many GT3 RSs are being daily driven. You're not gonna find them. Very, very, very few. Now, tell me how many Porsche 996s you see. I know here in Miami, there's a lot of them. And you see them every single day. You don't just see them on Saturdays or Sundays. The everyday usability of a Porsche 996 is like nothing that Porsche had ever done before. And so that means that you actually get to enjoy your Porsche every single day. And what could be better than that? On to the next point. Reason number 10, the rising popularity means investment gold. Once hated, I see a lot of people that used to hate a Porsche 996, but now a lot of people are like, wow, you know, that car looks really, really interesting. There's not this universal hate of Porsche 996s, and you see it at the car shows. But you know what's crazy? I remember here in Miami a couple of years ago, they had the huge Porsche event. I don't want to say which one. They had all the Porsches, 997s, 992s, 993s, 964s, parked up front. Notice any number missing? They actually had the Porsche 996s parked towards the back. It was incredible. And this was an organized event. Now, this was about 10 years ago. It's completely different than today. Porsche 996s are parked up front and people love them. It's almost like the hate never existed. If you're still one of the ones that think that most people don't like them, it's time to catch up. A lot of people love Porsche 996s and the popularity is growing, especially with younger enthusiasts, which those are the ones that keep this hobby alive. And that is a very, very good thing. So there you have it. The 10 unbreakable reasons the Porsche 996 is the deal of the century. Would you do bad on a Porsche 996? I know I would. It's totally worth it. Until the next one.
Conversation with any Porsche file about a 996 when they don't talk about two things: ugly headlights and IMS bearing failure issues. Truth be told, I don't care about any of those things. I don't necessarily seek other people's opinions on what I should think either. But what I will say is, for me personally, if you come around here, I actually prefer the Gen 1 headlight. No one ever says a bad word about these style headlights when they're on a GT1.